The awakening call. The signal arrived on a stormy Tuesday evening, exactly 127 years after the Galactic Concordiat had sealed Earth behind a quantum barrier. Dr. Maya Chen was monitoring deep space transmissions when her console flashed crimson. As director of Earth's Interstellar Communications Division, she had witnessed countless false alarms over her 15-year tenure, stellar anomalies, cosmic background radiation spikes, even the occasional pulsar hiccup. But this was different. System, verify transmission source, she commanded, her coffee forgotten as she leaned toward the holographic display. Transmission authenticated. Origin, Galactic Concordiat Diplomatic Channel. Channel has remained inactive for 127 years, 83 days, 14 hours. Mina's breath caught in her throat. The Concordiat, the very coalition that had deemed humanity evolutionarily predisposed to excessive violence and quarantined Earth's solar system, was breaking their century-long silence. The message was distressingly brief. To Earth leadership, Concordiat faces extinction. Entity designated the void-consuming star systems. Conventional defenses ineffective. Request human military assistance. Barrier restrictions temporarily suspended. Respond with urgency. Within an hour, the Global Defense Council had assembled in the subterranean command center beneath the Pacific. Representatives from every continental alliance gathered around the circular obsidian table, faces illuminated by the soft blue glow of holographic displays. This must be some kind of trap, General Ibrahim Santos declared, his weathered face creased with suspicion. The same aliens who called us barbaric now want our help. Director Chen played the message again, and the room fell into tense silence. Admiral Kaito Nakamura, commander of Earth's hidden orbital defenses, leaned forward. The authentication codes are genuine. Whatever this void is, it must be devastating for the Concordiat to break isolation protocols. Their technology was centuries beyond ours when they sealed us off. Santos countered. Not anymore, Chancellor Amara Okafor said quietly. She activated the table's central projector. Above them materialized holographic images of spacecraft. Massive vessels with sleek, predatory lines, their hulls adorned with weapon systems that defied conventional physics. Project Phoenix, Chancellor Okafor explained. While we maintained a peaceful public facade, we never stopped preparing. These vessels represent warfare evolved beyond anything the Concordiat ever anticipated. The images shifted to show massive shipyards hidden within hollowed-out asteroids, underground factories on Mars, and weapons testing ranges beneath Europa's ice sheet. They quarantined us because they feared what humanity might become if allowed to spread among the stars, Admiral Nakamura said, a hint of cold pride in his voice. They were right to fear us. Chancellor Okafor studied the projections with troubled eyes. If we deploy these forces, we reveal to the galaxy exactly what we've become. There's no going back. And if we don't, Director Chen countered, this void will eventually reach our solar system. We'll face it alone, without the benefit of learning from the Concordiat's failures. The vote, when it came, was unanimous. Earth would answer the call. Within hours, activation signals reached installations hidden throughout the solar system. In the asteroid belt, shipyards that had operated in secret for generations accelerated production. On Mars, underground factories increased output. Weapons platforms concealed in Saturn's rings powered up targeting systems that had lain dormant for decades. But the most critical signal reached a facility buried deep beneath Antarctica's permanent ice shelf. Director Chen arrived at the Antarctic base 12 hours later. The cryostasis chamber was already warming when she stepped through the reinforced doors, her breath visible in the still cold air. How long until revival? She asked the supervising physician. Another 30 minutes. Brain activity is already increasing. Chen approached the transparent cryopod. Within it lay a woman in her late 30s, her auburn hair cropped short, her muscular frame suggesting both strength and agility despite decades in suspension. Commander Lena Reeves, Earth's most brilliant tactical mind, enhanced beyond normal human capabilities. She had been placed in cryostasis when the post-Concordia peace reforms threatened to make her kind obsolete. "She's going to be disoriented," the physician warned. "The neural enhancements make the transition back to consciousness challenging." "I know what she is," Chen replied. "My grandmother was part of the team that created her." Commander Reeves was the last of the Vanguard program. Humans modified at the genetic level, their neural pathways restructured to process battlefield information at speeds that bordered on precognition. Their emotional responses had been recalibrated for optimal combat performance. They had been deemed too dangerous for peacetime society. Most had chosen termination when the war ended. A few, like Reeves, had opted for cryostasis. "We need what she is," Chen added quietly. Exactly 30 minutes later, Commander Reeves's eyes snapped open. Her gaze moved methodically around the room, assessing, calculating, before settling on Chen. "How long?" Her voice was surprisingly soft, but held an unmistakable edge of command. 74 years. Reeves absorbed this information with a slight nod. No confusion, no emotional reaction to learning she'd lost decades. Just clinical efficiency. This was precisely why they needed her. The threat. Something the Concordiat calls the void. It's consuming entire star systems. Conventional weapons are ineffective. Reeves sat up, disconnecting monitoring equipment with practiced movements. "The Concordiat asked for our help." It wasn't a question, but Chen nodded anyway. A cold smile crossed Reeves's face. "Show me our capabilities." Over the next 7 days, Reeves absorbed decades of military advancement. She studied the Phoenix fleet specifications with predatory focus. The 9 dreadnoughts, each capable of reducing a planet to molten slag, would form the core of humanity's response. Supporting them would be 27 destroyers, 84 frigates, and thousands of smaller craft. When the briefings concluded, Reeves stood on the observation deck of the orbital shipyard above Mars, watching as final preparations were made on her flagship, the EDS Nemesis. "Even with the Phoenix fleet, you'll be facing an enemy that has already defeated a technologically superior civilization," Chen said, standing beside her. "The Concordiat has better technology," Reeves agreed, her enhanced mind processing multiple tactical scenarios simultaneously. "But they've forgotten how to wage war. They've forgotten the mindset of a predator." "And you remember?" Chen's voice was barely audible. Reeves's dark eyes met hers. "I was built to remember, Director. Humanity's most ancient instincts, perfected through genetic engineering and neural enhancement." Chen suppressed a shiver. "The Council has conditions. Once this threat is neutralized, you and the other Vanguard veterans are to return to cryostasis." "Agreed." The response came too quickly. "I don't believe you," Chen said. Reeves's smile never reached her eyes. "A wise position. But right now, you need me more than you fear me." 3 days later, the Phoenix fleet departed the solar system, the quantum barrier that had confined humanity for over a century parting before them like a curtain. As the Nemesis led the formation into faster-than-light travel, Chen stood in Earth's orbital command center, watching the fleet vanish into the darkness. "We've just unleashed our most dangerous weapons on the galaxy," Chancellor Okafor said quietly, standing beside her. "I wonder if the Concordiat will thank us or curse us when this is over." "Both, likely," Chen replied. "But first, they have to survive." As the Phoenix fleet accelerated toward their meeting with the Galactic Concordiat, Commander Reeves sat alone in her quarters aboard the Nemesis, reviewing battle plans. The neural implants at the base of her skull pulsed with activity as her enhanced mind simulated thousands of combat scenarios. The Concordiat had cast out humanity for being too dangerous, too violent, too unpredictable. Now they would discover just how right they had been. The reckoning. The Phoenix fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel at the coordinates provided by the Galactic Concordiat, or what remained of it. Commander Lena Reeves stood motionless on the bridge of the EDS Nemesis, her enhanced mind processing the scene before her. where a thriving Concordiat outpost should have been orbiting the binary star system. Only debris remained. Fragments of once mighty space stations formed an artificial ring around the smaller star. The orbital shipyards that had once produced the galaxy's most advanced vessels were now twisted husks of alloy and composite materials. Survival probability for any remaining Concordiat forces in this system? Reeves asked, her voice betraying no emotion. Lieutenant Commander Jackson, the ship's AI integration specialist, consulted his neural interface. Approximately 17.3%, Commander. We're detecting minimal power signatures in the fourth planet's shadow. Take us in. Alert the fleet to maintain defensive formation Delta. Weapons hot but shielded. Reeves turned to Communications Officer Torres. Broadcast on all Concordiat emergency frequencies. Make it clear we're the response to their distress call. The Phoenix fleet moved with precision through the debris field, sensors scanning for any sign of the entity known as the Void. As they approached the fourth planet, a gas giant with 17 moons, their sensors detected movement. Contact emerging from the gas giant's shadow. Tactical Officer Chen announced. Concordiat vessel, heavily damaged. Designating as Alpha 1. The vessel that limped into view barely resembled the elegant crystalline ships the Concordiat was known for. Its hull was scarred with strange, geometric patterns that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. Portions of the ship appeared partially erased, as if reality itself had been selectively deleted. Open a channel, Reeves ordered. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a being that bore little resemblance to the majestic Concordiat representatives who had delivered Earth's quarantine sentence 127 years ago. The alien's pearlescent skin was ashen, its multiple eyes dulled. The characteristic luminescent patterns that typically adorned Concordiat ambassadors were dim and fragmented. This is High Archon Zell Terran of the Galactic Concordiat. The alien's voice was translated through the ship's systems. Identify yourselves. Commander Lena Reeves of Earth Defense Forces, we received your distress signal. The alien's eyes widened marginally. The humans, you actually came. A sound that might have been laughter in another context emanated from the being. Perhaps there is still hope then. Brief us on your situation. High Archon, Reeves said, her enhanced mind already calculating probable scenarios based on the debris field and the damage patterns to the Concordiat vessel. The Void arrived 3 standard cycles ago. It doesn't behave like any entity we've encountered. It doesn't consume resources or territory in any conventional sense. It consumes information, the very patterns that comprise reality itself. Tactical displays showed 12 more Concordiat vessels emerging from hiding positions. All showed similar damage patterns. We've lost 63 star systems. Our weapons pass through it without effect. Our shields fail when it touches them. It's as if the alien hesitated, as if it operates on a fundamental level of reality that we cannot access. How many Concordiat forces remain in this sector? Reeves asked. You're looking at them, Commander. 13 ships, approximately 4,000 souls. We are all that remains of the 7th Fleet, once 500 vessels strong. Silence fell over the Nemesis Bridge. And the Void. Current location. The High Archon's multiple appendages manipulated controls off-screen. It's coming. Our sensors detected approaching from the system's edge. Estimated arrival. 6 hours. Reeves turned to her tactical officer. Full sensor sweep. I want to know everything about this system. Gravitational anomalies, radiation belts, stellar activity. Everything. She faced the view screen again. High Archon, I need all your data on the Void's previous attacks. Patterns, response to different weapon types, any observable physical characteristics. Transferring now, the alien said. But I warn you, Commander, conventional tactics are useless against it. The Void doesn't fight. It unmakes. As the data transfer began, Reeves turned to her senior staff. I want options in 2 hours. Unconventional options. The Concordia tried conventional warfare and failed. We won't make the same mistake. 4 hours later, the Phoenix fleet and the remaining Concordia vessels had positioned themselves in a complex, three-dimensional formation around the binary system's second planet, a small rocky world with a surprisingly strong magnetic field. "The void has entered the system," announced Lieutenant Commander Jackson. "Visual contact in 30 seconds." When it appeared on the view screen, several bridge officers involuntarily stepped back. The void defied easy description. It wasn't a ship or a fleet or any recognizable cosmic phenomenon. It was an absence, a moving region of space where the normal rules of physics seemed to fray at the edges. Stars visible through it appeared distorted, their light bent and diminished. It had no definite shape, expanding and contracting like a massive amoeba, tendrils of darkness extending outward before being reabsorbed into the main mass. "It's beautiful," whispered one of the junior officers. "It's death," Reeves corrected. "Commence Operation Ouroboros." The Phoenix fleet began discharging specially modified probes into carefully calculated positions. Meanwhile, the Concordia vessels moved to predetermined coordinates, their remaining weapons charged. "High Archon," Reeves called over the comm channel. "Confirm your vessels are in position." "Confirmed, Commander." "Though I still fail to see how this formation will succeed where our most powerful weapons failed. We're not trying to destroy the void, High Archon. We're going to trap it." The massive entity continued its inexorable approach, seeming to sense the gathered fleet. Tendrils of non-existence reached out toward the closest ships. "All vessels, commence gravitational pulse sequence," Reeves ordered. "Timing is critical." The specialized probes activated simultaneously, each generating a powerful gravitational distortion. The planet's own magnetic field amplified the effect, creating a complex web of intersecting gravitational waves. The Phoenix fleet added to the effect, their engines pushing against space-time itself in precisely calculated patterns. "The void is responding," Tactical reported. "It's altering course, attempting to avoid the gravitational distortions." "As predicted," Reeves said. "Phase 2. Activate quantum tethers." Hidden within the debris field, dozens of devices suddenly activated. Each fired a beam of exotic particles toward the void, not to damage it, but to connect to it. Where the beams touched the entity, they created a quantum entanglement, linking the void to the devices themselves. "Concordia vessels, execute your attack runs now," Reeves commanded. The alien ships moved with surprising agility, firing their weapons not at the void itself, but at the space around it, further distorting the local gravitational field. "The void is trapped within our gravitational net," Jackson reported. "But it's already adapting. Quantum tethers weakening at 3% per minute. Proceed to final phase," Reeves ordered. The EDS Nemesis moved forward, positioning itself directly above the void. From its underside emerged a massive device, the culmination of decades of secret research, combining humanity's understanding of physics with the desperation born of isolation. "Reality anchor deployed," Chief Engineer Roberts announced. "Initiating sequence." The device activated, projecting a field of pure information, structured data so dense and complex that it created its own gravitational signature. The field expanded, encompassing the void entirely. "It's working," Jackson exclaimed. "The void's expansion has stopped." "No," Reeves corrected, watching the tactical display with her enhanced perception. "It's feeding." The entity had indeed stopped expanding, but now tendrils of darkness were reaching toward the reality anchor, drawn to the information-rich field it projected. "Exactly as intended," Reeves said. "All vessels, withdraw to minimum safe distance. Prepare for dimensional inversion." As the fleet pulled back, the void continued to absorb the information field, growing more defined as it did so, taking on an almost solid appearance for the first time. "Reality anchor at critical mass," Roberts reported. "Inversion in 3, 2, 1. The anchor imploded, collapsing in on itself with impossible force. But instead of creating an explosion, it created a singularity, a pinpoint in space where information density became infinite. The void, now inextricably linked to the anchor through the information it had absorbed, was pulled toward the singularity. The entity fought, tendrils of non-existence lashing out in all directions. Several probes were instantly erased from reality. One Concordiate vessel, too slow in its retreat, lost a third of its mass before emergency systems engage. But the pull was inexorable. The void, the entity that had destroyed 63 star systems and decimated the mighty Concordiate, collapsed into the singularity point. A flash of light, not blinding, but somehow profound, marked its disappearance. Target neutralized, tactical confirmed after several tense minutes of scanning. No trace of the void remains within sensor range. On the bridge of the Nemesis, Reeves allowed herself a small nod of satisfaction. Secure from battle stations, begin recovery operations for any damaged vessels. Hours later, in the Nemesis conference room, Reeves sat across from High Archon Zelterran. The alien's luminescent patterns had brightened somewhat, though they still appeared fragmented. "You didn't destroy it," the High Archon said. "You used its nature against it. It consumed the information in your device, became defined by that information, and thus vulnerable to the laws of physics it had previously transcended." "Precisely," Reeves confirmed. "The void operated outside conventional reality. We had to bring it into our reality to defeat it. A strategy no Concordiate tactician would have conceived," Zelterran admitted. "We've spent millennia avoiding conflict, seeking harmony with the universe. We forgot that sometimes survival requires creativity in violence. That's why you quarantined Earth," Reeves said. "You recognized what we were." "We feared what you might become," the alien corrected. "And it seems our fears were justified. The weapons you brought to this battle, the way your minds work, you're dangerous, Commander Reeves. Far more dangerous than we anticipated." Reeves leaned forward, her enhanced eyes fixed on the alien. "And yet, here we are, having saved what remains of your civilization." Indeed, the High Archon's patterns shifted in what might have been the alien equivalent of a rueful smile. "The Concordiate Council will need to reconsider its position on humanity's place in the galaxy. You'll lift the quarantine permanently. That seems the minimum gesture of gratitude appropriate under the circumstances, though I suspect many among our kind will argue for more. Extensive observation of your species. They're welcome to observe," Reeves said, her voice pleasant, but carrying an unmistakable edge. "But the days of containment are over. Humanity has earned its place among the stars, not through peaceful exploration, as you might have preferred, but through the very qualities you feared in us." As the Phoenix fleet prepared for the journey home, Commander Reeves stood on the observation deck of the Nemesis, watching as repair drones swarmed around the damaged Concordiate vessels. Director Chen's final instructions echoed in her mind: return to cryostasis once the mission was complete. She had agreed, of course, but that was before she had witnessed the galaxy's vulnerability, before she had seen how easily even the mighty Concordiate could fall without humanity's particular gifts. The quantum communicator in her hand would send a message back to Earth, a message reporting victory and the Concordiate's promise to lift the quarantine. But what else would that message contain? A pledge to return to the darkness of cryosleep, or something else, a vision of humanity's new place in a galaxy that had just learned how much it needed them. Reeves's fingers hovered over the device as she made her decision. The future of humanity among the stars hung in the balance. The signal she sent would change everything.